What's going on, everybody? I hope you're doing well. In today's video, we're going to be going over illustration rares because Scarlet and Violet, the entire generation, is going absolutely crazy, and it's still going pretty insane. Starting off with the most expensive illustration rare, the Magikarp from Paldea Evolved. And guys, this entire generation, the past few months, these cards have increased drastically. And what's interesting about today's video is some of them are starting to level off or come down in price a good little bit. As you can see here, this Magikarp went to about $150 card, end of June-ish, and beginning middle of July now, and it's at $130, and it still seems to be going down even more in price. Near mints, we have a few recent solds, and I believe some of them are a different language card, and one is going for $130, or one sold for $130. So it could still be around that $130 market price. The listed median price is at $144. So, this card could still very well keep up its huge price. And it started 3 months ago at around $100. So card continues to go up, come down a little bit, but I don't know how much and for how long. Looking at the second most expensive one, we have Groudon here from Paradox Rift. And this guy's sitting at $52, and over the past 3 months has increased from $25, put on double the price growth pretty much, or doubled its price over these past 3 months. And it went all the way up to a $62, $63 card, and has since come down about $10 since I guess the middle of June. So it's come down a good little bit, probably $10 it's lost. Recent sales for near mints have it at $42, $43, and then one for $9. Once again, probably a different language. So we could see this card come down even more in price than it already has. Moving on to the third most expensive, the Eevee from Twilight Masquerade. Love this card. Absolutely lovely. Sitting at $45, and this guy, we only have a month's data because the set came out maybe 6 weeks ago. And it's sitting at $45. It started the month at $42, went down, and then shot back up a good little bit. And it is insane how this card is still $45, and it started pre-release at a $20 card. So not only when release happened, it grew in price a lot, but this guy has continued to rise when usually after a new set releases, prices fall. So pretty interesting to see. Lovely card. Moving on to the Raichu from Paldea Evolved. Beautiful card and a crazy growth. And this is interesting because compared to some of the other ones that have dropped off a good little bit, this guy's still kind of continuing to go up. It's flatlined a bit. As you can see, it hit it went above 40, and it's grown pretty steadily since, but around the beginning of May, it shot up from a $25 card all the way up to a $40 card. So putting on $15, pretty nuts. And it seeming to still go up. Recent solds for $41 and $44. So we could still see this card maintain its price point. All right, that will do it for some individual screen grabs, but now we have some just bulk screen grabs on TCG Player that I've done. And this is just from most expensive to least expensive. Here we have the Tyranitar at $34, which is pretty crazy. It's probably done the same thing that the Raichu has, put on a good little bit of value, also from Paldea Evolved. We have the Charmander at $31, Ghastly at $27, Squirtle at $26, Bulbasaur at $24, Charmeleon at $24. Really interesting one here, folks. We got the Steelix at $23. This guy came out of nowhere, out of Paradox Rift, literally out of nowhere. Wartortle at $19. And so the biggest movers here, I believe, have been that Steelix and that Tyranitar. The Ghastly, which is from Temporal Forces, if you can recall, a few months ago was being pumped up pretty high. It kind of fell down to below a $20 card and has since gone back up to now a $27 card. Not exactly to the pump prices that it's seen at $40, but pretty expensive at a $27 card. Tyranitar from Paldea Evolved was pretty stagnant at below a $20 card for a pretty long time. And, $34 now, pretty good. Charmander, Bulbasaur, Charmeleon, Wartortle, Squirtle, those guys from 151 have kind of maintained their price point a little bit throughout the year. Once again, like 151, it's a holiday set, different, a little bit different the way the booster boxes work. There is none, and pack price is a little bit more expensive. And these were a set where illustration rares were a lot harder to pull. So they've kind of maintained a pretty high price point, and maybe they've grown a few bucks here and there. But what's really interesting here is the Steelix, which is put on like 10 bucks in 2 weeks. I was shocked when I saw this card. It used to be like a $12 to $14 card, now a $23 card from Paradox Rift. Y'all, the Groudon and the Steelix here have come out of nowhere and just gained so much price recently. If you picked it up a few weeks ago, great. If you didn't, I'd probably hold off. It's a beautiful card. I really do like it, but it's just mind-blowing to me. Like 10 bucks in 2 weeks for this card. Looking at some more from 151, we have the Pikachu and the Ivysaur at around $19 each. Chansey at $17 from the newest set, Twilight Masquerade. Yveltal, also from Paradox Rift. Y'all, these Paradox Rift illustration rares. This one's at $16, and once again, I know this card was like $8 a few weeks ago, and it's just shot up since then, putting on like double the price. Like this set, I don't know what's happening. I love this card. I actually pulled it out of Raging Surf, the Japanese equivalent. So I'm a fan. I'm glad to have picked it up, but in English, I will not be picking this up at $16. I'm glad I have the Japanese version. Yeah, this Ralt's sitting at $15. Sprigatito also at $15. And then the Dragonair and Heracross both at $14. And that Heracross too, that guy's put on a little bit of price. I believe it was like $7 to $9 a card at one point. It's up $5 or $6 now to be at $14. Pretty interesting. Sudowoodo at $12, Fuecoco at $12, Kirlia at $11, and Psyduck at $11. What's pretty interesting is that Sprigatito, $15 card. I believe the Meowscarada EX, the special illustration rare, is kind of around that same price point. So it's a pretty expensive illustration rare out of Paldea Evolved. Pretty interesting. We got the Dragonair and that Psyduck on the cheaper side of the 151 illustration rares. Still beautiful cards. That Dragonair is like stunning. Taking a look here at some more, once again, Paradox Rift. Morpeko at $11. We got Ninetales from Obsidian Flames. I believe this is Obsidian Flames' most expensive illustration rare at $11. Beautiful card. Poliwhirl at $10. Tatsugiri at $10. Mousehold at $10. Metagross from Temporal Forces, also another one that I'd like to take a little bit more of a look at. This was like a $5 card a few weeks ago too, folks. So a lot of these fan favorite Pokemon, like, Metagross, like Steelix, Yveltal, which has a great artwork. Some of the ones that either fan favorites have a great artwork are kind of going up in price. Like, and I say fan favorites are great artworks, like Eevee, you could kind of see going up in price. Ghastly, you could see. Tyranitar, Raichu, these Gen 1 favorite Pokemon that people in the market like to collect or invest in or buy, whatever it may be. And Metagross has doubled its price point. It is a beautiful card, and it's a fan favorite pseudo-legendary Pokemon. I mean, Minimum at $10, Baxcalibur at $10, Loudred at $9, Sawsbuck at $9. Sawsbuck and Deerling make one of the most fantastic artworks I think the Pokemon TCG has ever seen. Fight me in the comments. Marill at $9 and Riolu at $9. Shout out. This is, I believe, Scarlet and Violet base set's most expensive illustration rare. Actually, no, the Ralts and Kirlia were. So third most. Looking at Chinchino from Temporal at $8. Infernape at just under $9. This is another card that was at $5, doubled its price point over the past few weeks. I love Infernape personally. It's not like a Gen 1 or like a vintage older Pokemon. It's my first starter in Pokemon Diamond, so it's kind of cool to see this boy getting some love, but at the same time, I also wanted to come down in price so I can get it for myself. still pretty interesting to see. Growlithe at $8.73, and then Plusle through Drowsy at $8. We got the Nidoking, I believe on the cheaper end of 151 as well, at $8.33. Magby from Paradox Rift, beautiful card at just under $8. Vanillish at around $7, also from Paradox. Paldea Evolved, Tinkatuff at $7, and one of the best illustration rares of the entire Scarlet and Violet era. It is my favorite, personally, the Cleffa. Beautiful card at $7. A few of my friends have this card and have pulled it, and for whatever reason, I haven't bought a copy of this card yet, even though it's like my favorite one. So I will be doing that, even though I believe the price has risen on that a good little bit, but stunning artwork. I really do like those scenery cards. And looking at another slide, this is of the cheapest illustration rares from the entire Scarlet and Violet era. We have Meltan from Temporal at $1.50. A few from Twilight, that Timber, Wattrel at like $1.50. All of these are like, $1.50 cards, which in all honesty, buying, say, that Chimecho from Twilight Masquerade for $1.50 instead of opening like a few packs for it, that seems like a steal. That Wattrel, $1.50, you could buy like, I don't even know, 30 Wattrels for opening up like an ETB. Like that kind of seems like the play instead. Lairon from Twilight Masquerade at $1.50. Like all these Twilight Masquerades, Cramorant, Probopass at $1.30. We have Bellabolt for $1.50 and Varoom for 99 cents from Obsidian Flames. And then we have these 3 cards from Paldean Fates, the Shiny Palafin, Shiny Palmy, and Shiny Wugtrio at 45-ish to 35 cents. So those 3 are the easiest to hit, I know, and they're also the cheapest, even though they're sick. Like the shiny illustration rares, they should have done more. But yeah, in all honesty, guys, there seems to be a good little bit of opportunity for these cheap cards from like $1.50 for beautiful artworks, mind you, beautiful artworks. But that's going to do it. If you enjoyed this, make sure to like, subscribe, notifications if you'd like. But that's going to do it. I'd love to know your thoughts on the Scarlet and Violet illustration rares. I love when people comment. Thank you, everybody, for commenting. I appreciate it. That's going to do it. Peace.